Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Dr. Suzanne Blickfeld. Suzanne is a senior pediatric consultant specializing in neuropediatrics. Suzanne is also mum to a 34-year-old son with Prader-Willi syndrome, who last evening I discovered was born within a month of when our son Richard was born. Suzanne is co-founder of the Danish PWS Association. She acts as medical advisor and leader of the advisory board of this association. Suzanne has been instrumental, along with others, in establishing 10 PWS-specific, no less than 10 PWS-specific adult care homes in Denmark for a population of 5.5 million. She has lectured extensively on adult healthcare issues in PWS. She is medical advisor to Ipsos since 2001 and a former board member. Today, Suzanne will discuss the evolution of PWS care homes in Denmark, as well as healthcare issues for adults. Thank you. Welcome, Suzanne.
Thank you so much, Dan, and thank you so much for inviting me. I come from Denmark. I'm so glad to come here and tell you about our experiences in Denmark. And I want to thank you for your hospitality and all what you have done for us during the last 2 days. It has been wonderful to be here. I'll start with the health care, and it will be, there are so many things to mention about Prader-Willi syndrome and all the medical problems that can arise, especially during adulthood. And I know that some of the things I have to mention rather quickly, and some of the things you know very well, and we will have a discussion later this morning at the end of the morning presentations when we can talk about the things. I just have to need how I change slides. I do it like this. Well, Prader-Willi syndrome, you all know, is a congenital disorder of chromosome 15, and there are many signs and symptoms. And well, research is still needed to explain the exact reason for many of the symptoms. But luckily, we know a lot about symptoms and how to treat and manage Prader-Willi syndrome. So in Prader-Willi syndrome, there can be many medical problems. And we know that with age, there will be more and more physical problems in Prader-Willi, and that's what I'm going to talk most about this morning. So there will be special signs and symptoms with illness when they are ill, something that we have to be aware of. And there are special symptoms related to the organs in the body, and then special symptoms can arise related to overweight, that we know. And also then there are psychiatric diseases that can arise. So one thing we know to think about, this is a little gland in the middle of the brain called the hypothalamus. And this hypothalamus regulates a lot of things in our body. And actually we do not know exactly why there is this hypothalamic dysfunction, or it seems that there is a hypothalamic dysfunction in Prader-Willi. But we can relate many of the symptoms seen in Prader-Willi syndrome to hypothalamus. And first of all, the appetite regulation, always a desire to eat. And then also the temperature regulation and sensation of temperature can be affected. And then the sensation of pain can be different. Hormone regulation is most often disturbed, and then sleep and awake rhythm can also be disturbed. So rather many things to be aware of. So appetite, we all know it. There's always a desire to eat. And I don't think it's a hunger like we feel it. Perhaps some also can feel or have the sensation of hunger that we can. But a teenager or an adult with Prader-Willi will eat when offered food, and eat when food is available, and also when or if there's a feeling of being full. And people often ask about the next meal, talk about food, you know it all. It is as if there's a drive to gather calories, as if the person is starving. The behavior is like we see it when people are starving. And that's rather strange because they are not starving. Temperature and pain and Prader-Willi. Well, we can see high body temperature without a disease. It's perhaps most often seen in small children. And then also a very low body temperature has sometimes been noted together with depression. But I think the most important, one of the most important messages to you this morning is that infections can be seen without fever. So when you think that your person you are taking care of or your child is not doing well, is ill, do not rely on the temperature. And please teach also your general practitioner that you cannot rely on the temperature. We have seen many diagnoses or infections have been recognized too late because people were relying on the temperature. And on the other hand, the person themselves, they do not feel warm or cold as we do. So many need help to dress. You know, if it's chilly in the morning and you put on a jacket, then you must be aware that the person with Prader-Willi most often will not take off the jacket in the middle of the day when the sun is shining. So you have to make arrangements about that. And then the next thing also, the pain, the high pain threshold, often few complaints. Examples, one who is walking on a bone leg or have abdominal diseases, are just walking around with appendicitis without feeling very much discomfort. So this is a very important that doctors need this information, and if you go to the IPSO website, you can download this medical alert book where many of these serious symptoms are described. In Denmark we have a small pamphlet about information to health care persons, and I can recommend you to have it here in Ireland too. Well, so when we're going to interpret the symptoms, we must ask ourselves, is he or she ill or not? Because we cannot rely on temperature pain, and we cannot expect the same reactions as seen in others. So again, it's a general well-being. Is something changed? What has happened? And then one point often is when appetite has changed. If the person does not want to eat, there's often something very wrong. So then I just mentioned, because we can talk a lot about the hormones and the growth hormone. We know that there are many with Prader-Willi, but actually not all, who have growth hormone deficiency. Most children are given growth hormone. It started now also to give adults, but we know now from our experience in Denmark that not all need growth hormone, the adults, even if they have been treated as children. Very often there's low levels of sex steroids, and both in men and women, and we recommend most often treatment from puberty and thereafter. But it must also be individualized, and it is so with Prader-Willi. It's not a none or all disease. There are many degrees of growth hormone deficiency or sex steroid deficiency. So all the treatments must be based on an individualized test or individualized clinical observations also. And then there can be low levels of thyroid hormones. It's not so rare, and it's very easy to treat. And there has been some discussion about the cortisol. It's all these hormones, they are regulated from the hypothalamus in a way. So it has been speculated if cortisol levels could be too low, and the cortisol must arise in our body when we have a disease. And it has been talked about from a study in the Netherlands, but then later on other other investigations has been done that have not totally proved the observation in the Netherlands. So our recommendation in Denmark is that if a person comes to hospital and is ill, we measure the cortisol and consider, if the person is seriously ill, if extra cortisol should be given. Hypergonadism, I just mentioned it because there's sometimes some speculations about what is hypergonadism. And well, the word means that there are small genitals and low hormone levels of the 6 steroids. And the puberty in Prader-Willi is often so that you early see the pubic hair, but that's not the real puberty. That's what we call the adrenarche, and that's because of hormones produced in our adrenal gland. So the real puberty is often delayed and incomplete, but it varies a lot. And then treatment must be based on individual evaluation. Sexuality. Well, many adults have a childish interest. Many women play with dolls, and it should not be misinterpreted as a wish for having children. There's a great risk, and I have to stress that people with Prader-Willi syndrome offer sex for having food. It has been seen many times. So we must be very much aware of this. And then if they have a sexual relationship, it's important that they have education about prevention. Diabetes. There is an increased risk for Prader-Willi syndrome persons to have diabetes, to become diabetic, also with normal weight. And it's often said it's only overweight that can give diabetes in Prader-Willi, but it has been seen also in normal weight persons. And therefore it's recommended to check regularly if the blood sugar levels are normal. And treatment is most often diet alone or sometimes with some medication. Sleep and seizures. Sleep is also regulated from our hypothalamus, and many have what we call apnea. That means that there are long pauses where people do not breathe when they are sleeping. And a treatment with so-called CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure, where you get a little thing in your nose when you sleep, has helped many. And perhaps daytime sleeping can be caused by a bad night's sleep. And if people tend to fall asleep when sitting, you should consider if the night sleep is okay. And then another important point, falling asleep when sitting, it is not epilepsy. I just mention it because it has been asked so many times. Epilepsy can be seen in Prader-Willi like in the general population, but it's not so often. It can be treated, and severe lung convulsions has never been reported in Prader-Willi syndrome, so that's interesting in a way. Well, the body composition in Prader-Willi syndrome, it is so what we call the lean body mass. That means the part of the body that is below the fat mass. You know, below the skin you have the fat, and in Prader-Willi syndrome the fat mass is often rather big. It's often so that 50% of the body weight in a person with Prader-Willi who is only a bit overweight is fat. We know that slim persons with Prader-Willi syndrome with a low BMI often has 20% fat of their weight, or 20% of their weight is fat, even if they look very slim. So the medication that we give for various things is actually distributed in a very small body, because when you just have the medication in and you swallow it, it's absorbed in your digestive system, and it goes to what we call the water phases in the body. And so you have to think about when you are given some medication, it is distributed in a very small body beneath fat. So therefore, side effects can easily arise if doses are too high. So a general recommendation, if you give medication, for example, for allergy or epilepsy or psychiatric diseases, you should start with a very low dose. Anesthesia today, most often without problems, and most problems arise because of overweight. Apnea during awakening can be seen. I mention this because many people fear anesthesia, but our impression is that most often there are no problems with general anesthesia and Prader-Willi syndrome. But One problem is if the person is eating before the anesthesia is given. So we know the persons with Prader-Willi, they try to eat if it's possible. And if you do not if you are not aware what the person is doing just before the general anesthesia, it could happen that he or she is eating something, and then if there's a full stomach before anesthesia, it can give problems and the food runs back into the lungs. So, well, then I come to all the organic related symptoms in Prader-Willi. Now we just had all from the hypothalamus, so I do some of it rather quickly, but just that you remember: eyes. Many have strabismus, squint, many are operated, many need glasses. When we talk about the adults, you have to think about that our vision declines or becomes bad with age, and that's also the case for those with Prader-Willi, and sometimes the need of glasses starts rather early, even in the 20s. So have a check regularly. Hearing, actually we have very little literature about that. It's supposed to be normal. My question is, when did you last check the hearing? And especially when speech is delayed, but also if it was not checked before. Nowadays in Denmark, all newborn in general are checked if they have a hearing problem. But those who are 20 or older, they have not had their hearing checked. And also in the elderly population, we know in the general population that hearing can be bad. So please check it also regularly, especially above the age of 40. Heart and lungs. Well, in many syndromes we have congenital heart diseases, but this is rare in Prader-Willi. The problems arise after years with severe overweight. Ventilation can be restricted in the lungs if you are severely overweight or have scoliosis and kyphosis. I'll come back to that. And of course, persons with Prader-Willi can also have asthma and allergy. So if they have breathing problems, it's not necessarily because of overweight. Mouth and teeth, something that we are becoming more and more aware of now is there's a little saliva, dry mouth, but a thing is the reflux and regurgitation means that the things you have eaten and have been down in the stomach come up again with the acid from the stomach, and this harms the teeth, and you have to ask the dentist if there's signs of reflux, and this can be treated with a medication also that change the acidity in the stomach. And then another big problem that we have been talking very much about the last years, and this is about the stomach. The stomach easily becomes distended when full, and gastroparesis is when the stomach does not empty. It's paralytic. There's a paralysis of the stomach, and people with Prader-Willi syndrome rarely vomit. So it's difficult for them to empty a full stomach. And also some may eat hair, which makes a ball in the stomach. But there can be a risk for gastric rupture after binge eating. And it's not only a risk because we have seen it many times all over the world, not often, but it is seen now and then. And the problem is that the pain is little and complaints are few when the stomach is distended, and sometimes the only thing that you see or hear is that the person with Prader-Willi do not want to eat. And I really want to stress this again. If the person with Prader-Willi do not want to eat, something is really wrong. And if you know that the person has been out for example, a Christmas party with the parents, allowed to eat whatever they want because where they live, they are so strictly controlling everything. So just eat, my friend. It's after these occasions that we in Denmark have seen these fatal cases. It ended up with with the death of the person. So be aware if the person with Prader-Willi do not want to eat. Gastroparesis, we do not know all about all cases. We know it can occur after binge eating, but we have seen it also with gastroenteritis, that people with Prader-Willi have a very big stomach. And we have seen it often with constipation. And I speculate if it can arise also because of other diseases. I recently had contact to a woman in her 30s, and she had a urinary tract infection, and she came to hospital because of the very big stomach, and they found out that her real problem was a urinary tract infection. And I just want to mention that all Danish cases seen the last years, not fatal cases, but cases with a distended abdomen or gastroparesis who has been in hospital, they all had a severe constipation. So then I come to the intestines and Prader-Willi, because a recent study in Denmark showed that the transit time, the time from what you eat, come in here and come out in the other end, in 24% of adults with Prader-Willi, it took 3 days, and normally it's only 1.5 days. And 40% had constipation. And we're talking about adults from the age of 18 and up. Complaints were few, and it is most often easy to treat. And perhaps it can be the reason for both the rectal and urinary incontinence seen in the elderly population, and also the rectal picking that we sometimes see. And if there's this rectal picking, then the advice is limit the time alone in toilet. So you all know this, and we should aim to have type number 4 of the stool, but even the transit time can be slow, even if you have a normal consistence of the stool, but it's only a reminder. Well, bladder and urinary system, we are going down, as you see. Most children achieve control, but often delayed. Some do not empty the full bladder when at toilet, and bedwetting can be a problem. So some are talking about incontinence is increasing with age, perhaps with overweight. Well, the treatment or proposal is that have toilet visits at fixed hours if the person do not go themselves more than 1 or 2 times during a day. Learn to empty the bladder fully and learn to use the time for it. I think I go to now the spine, just to mention kyphosis. And it's often seen, and you know, it's people with Prader-Willi, they are walking more and more like this when they become older, both because of muscle hypertonia, but also because of osteoporosis. And my advice is daily exercises. Georgina will come to that. Scoliosis, this arises during childhood, and most often it does not progress after puberty. I just showed you the photos to see the difference. You see the kyphotic spine, the lower vein, and the scoliosis is at this form of the spine. So now we are down at feet and legs, and just remind you, I'll make it short, that some have a wrong position of their feet so that they need extra sole or bracing shoes. Another problem is that broken legs can be seen and overlooked, and then osteoporosis. And it's most often because of an untreated hormone deficiency. People with Prader-Willi syndrome, adults, have not received sex steroids or growth hormone, and then the bones become weak, and it can happen in both sexes. In the general population, we most often talk about osteoporosis in women, but it's seen also often in adult or older men with Prader-Willi. And then edema, especially in the legs, but with severe overweight, it can be actually in the whole body. And if you have a poor circulation in the skin, you can easily get wounds and skin infections. Skin and nails, well, the skin is sometimes very sensitive to the sun, and many are biting nails. Vitamin D, you should have it from the sun, but you need a supplement also. Skin picking can be a very big problem. And I'll just say shortly that keep the skin smooth and secure occupation of hands, and sometimes reward for healed skin. Eating, well, I just want to, it's also a behavioral problem mentioned as it is, but how to avoid overweight. I think you all know this, but my proposal is, or my advice is, that no one needs to come into the kitchen. And if you serve the food like in a restaurant, only on one plate, and leave the table after the meal, and avoid cleaning tables and washing plates. Discussions about food will always end badly. And then all the advices about the food, low-fat diet, not a special diet, but remember that the body size and the physical activity set the needs. And therefore, the need of calories varies a lot in Prader-Willi syndrome, so they cannot all have the same. It's necessary to have a contact to dietitian, and also be aware of how many calories there are in the food that you buy. You can often read it. So another advice, do not introduce what cannot be continued. And the food security often talked about, no hope, no doubt, no hope, and gives no disappointment. And then about weight in Prader-Willi, what is the ideal weight? Actually, we do not know, but my statement is, if a person's physical activity is limited because of overweight, the weight is much too high. So it's normal for you and me and everybody to be able to run, and I think persons with Prader-Willi syndrome should also be able to that. I take this away because Georgina will talk about it. No one is going to talk about behavior and psychiatry. So therefore, I just mentioned that behavioral problems and psychiatric symptoms are often misunderstood and not correctly treated. Excuse me. Behavior is often seen as psychiatric symptoms, or psychiatric symptoms are seen as behavioral problems. And this is so that I think we should, Hubert has already said a lot, but behavioral problems most often arise because of situations in the environment that are too difficult for the person with Prader-Willi. Sometimes medication can help to relax and cope, but as a rule, behavioral problems cannot be solved by medication. Psychiatry. Psychiatric diseases can arise if the environment is too stressing, can for all of us, and symptoms can be very painful. And people with Prader-Willi are at risk of having psychiatric diseases more than others. That's because of the syndrome itself. So we should be aware of the symptoms, and psychiatric symptoms can come gradually or all of a sudden. And here medication can help a lot. And it should be continued when you start, but in a low dose. Depression, you can be sad, have low self-esteem, very slow, no interest, low temperature, or psychosis with hallucinations, see things, hear voices, fearful thoughts. And this should be distinguished from childish fantasy when you talk about having a friend like a small child can do. So also with age, you should be aware if the mental health changes. Dementia is, until now, not so common. It's talked very much about. Depression is rather common among adults in Prader-Willi. And we should be aware of the difference, because when you have dementia, you lose your ability. All of a sudden you cannot dress, or you cannot find your way, or your speech is becoming worse or bad. So there's a big difference between dementia and depression, and therefore I recommend that you write a status once a year about the person's situation, so that the personnel where you work can read about the person and know him. So I'm going to finish this part soon, and I just want to say that it is difficult with Prader-Willi syndrome, because from a medical person's point of view, it's not just a bag of symptoms. The one with Prader-Willi often does not know or understand very much about this disease. Perhaps they have learned more in Germany, as we see, but we have to help and give personal assistance. And also know a little about the developmental age, both cognitively, emotionally, and socially. So I just summary of the messages here about all the medical problems. In acute situations, be aware of the different temperature and pain reactions and the eating. And in everyday care and not weight-related symptoms in Prader-Willi, there are a lot. You can start from the top with the eye and hearing and the dental care, the skin, the scoliosis, the intestines and bladder function, and so on. And then we have the problems that can arise to overweight. And then I have handouts of these two last things, so that you can have when you leave the room, about a regular medical check every half or every year for adults with Prader-Willi. So I give you the handouts. So my conclusion is, with the right support, it's possible to be happy and get around, and also as an adult. So this was one part here. So we have to come to the adult service. Hubert already said many of the things that I have planned to say here about adult services. So I'll concentrate on what happened in Denmark. So, of course, it's important to be happy. And when you create homes for Prader-Willi, well, the cost is necessarily not so high, but knowledge is so important. And education of staff. And then to recognize or agree or be aware that no one can live totally independently. And it's often difficult for the authorities to accept that, I think. So there's a long list of symptoms, and with age and with overweight, we get more medical problems. The adult capacities in Prader-Willi syndrome varies a lot, and I think also that Hubert stressed that. So you have to go in and make an individual evaluation. There are some, when you are moving to a home, a question about personal hygiene is sometimes not talked enough about, and it's taken for given that the person is able to wash his hair or cut his nails and so on. And if you do not go through all this, you sometimes run into a problem also about cleaning, tidying, and so on. But many persons with Prader-Willi can really learn a lot and can get a high self-esteem of what they are doing. Well, how is life in Denmark? For many years it was so that adults with diseases of all kinds did not live with their parents. Before we had big institutions, but this has changed. Adults with physical disabilities or psychiatric diseases in Denmark often live in their own apartment with help according to their needs. And adults with mental handicap most often live together in houses with staff. Before before 1988, when the doll started, most people with Prader-Willi lived with their parents, if they were alive as adults, I have to say. Many parents were afraid to send their adult child into a group home because food was not controlled. It started in 87, 88. There were 2 adults with Prader-Willi in the same mixed group home. And 2 of the staff saw that their needs were different to what they had ever seen before. Because in this house, or in most houses, the main goal was to teach independent living. And they found this unrealistic and even not ethically correct. So there was a subgroup created, and those 2 caregivers wrote a book about the conflicts. Conflicts often started when a person with Prader-Willi did not know if he or she could have something more to eat. And their expectations were often based on misunderstandings, and some of their expectation was eventually not known by the staff. But perhaps most striking was conflicts arose when the staff had the expectation that the person with Prader-Willi eventually, just for one evening, should try to behave as if she or he did not have Prader-Willi. Send someone to a party with money and expect to have money back. So this is different to all other diseases they wrote, and the staff is facing situations that they have not met before. They decided, we buy and prepare and serve the meals. We calculate the amount of food they are going to have. We do not discuss the food, and we make a clear plan for their daily activities. It was not easy because not all staff agreed, and not all parents agreed. They succeeded. They lost weight, conflicts became less. And then staff from habitations where others with Prader-Willi lived got in contact, new groups started, and the main principle was, we take the responsibility for the food. We have a plan for the day. So now in Denmark, as you said, we are 5.5 million, and we do not know exactly how many there are with Prader-Willi, but we have contact to more than 130 now. There are 10 group homes, and 80 to 90 adults with Prader-Willi live there. And then some live in other facilities. The group homes in Denmark, they are different, but there are some basic similarities. The staff take the responsibility for the food. Persons with Prader-Willi never alone in the kitchen. And number of staff is according to inhabitants' needs, and staff and carriers are educated persons, special teachers or social workers. And, well, the goal is an apartment for each with a living room, a bedroom, and own bathroom, but no one needs a kitchen. And last year, a new section has been established as a part of an existing group home. It's a house for persons with extra needs. Some of them are older, and their physical problems are becoming very demanding, and some have psychiatric diseases. I have to skip this about paying, but still it's not easy. The municipalities are most often not interested in creating a special group home. And so often it starts again at point 0 for a person becoming adult. So I have to say that all Danish Prader-Willi group homes have been established because there have been someone with some authority that had understood the problem. There must be such a person being responsible for special habituation. So in 1999, there was a home. I'm going to show you photos. It started a rented house in a village with 4 young persons with Prader-Willi. And the staff was educated for a month, visited other group homes, and it was not a permanent solution, so after some years they wanted to continue, got in contact with an architect, and he designed the new house, the existing house, with 8 apartments for 2 groups of 4, and the house is built for Prader-Willi syndrome. So it's an architect who go in and read about and understand Prader-Willi. So there are many small details. The temperature in the room cannot be changed. The temperature of the water when you take a bath cannot be changed, and so on. So now there are 8 adults living there, and there's a staff and a leader and a cook every morning. And then one thing is that everybody has his personal contact person responsible for medical visits, buying personal needs, contacts to parents. And I think in some countries it's very often the parents who take this role. But I must say that in Denmark it is so that when the adults are living in a Prader-Willi group home, there are personnel who are responsible for medical visit, dentist visit, buying food, and buying personal needs. Just to show the plan for the day, and then to be fit, a physiotherapist comes at this place, and it's once a week. And then doctor's visits, of course, according to needs. And they follow the recommendations that we have, that I also give you. And it is so in Denmark that we have 2 centers for Prader-Willi syndrome, one in the eastern part in Copenhagen and one in Aarhus in western part of Denmark. And all those living in group homes, they go to regular checks there. So now comes the photo. The home. This is from outside, and you see here there's a gym and meeting rooms, and this is where there's a new section added to your left for a group of 5 older people. This is a gym, this is a living room, and this is where we have this board with a plan for every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we use very much, or in Denmark, very much we use pictograms to show with small signs what's going to happen during the day. That makes things easier for many of the Prader-Willi. The bathroom, another apartment, living room, meal. Well, all meals are served. I have said it before. The weight, the persons with Prader-Willi have their weight measured every morning. And the biggest problem about the weight is actually that they put on weight when they are visiting their families. Crisis, yes, but not because of food, other items. Plannings of the day, misunderstandings. And then work. Everybody has his personal plan for the day, and there are individual and activities in common. And those who have psychiatric problems might not be capable of the same activities as others. And here you have just a plan for the week with outdoor, indoor activities and riding and swimming and so on. And then again at work. And this is my son with his primary contact person. And here one of the activities this is my son again, this is his favorite activity, being with the horses. And then I just want to show you from another place before I stop. This is on a small island where there are now 6 with Prader-Willi, or 7, and they all work with horses. So most of the day they are taking care of horses. There are some of them who are running a small shop with second-hand things, but they the activities with horses. And also Pam Eisen visited Fejø 9 years ago. And then we have in Denmark summer camps, and all the group homes, they come and participate at the summer camps. I have to add that I have from the Eurotis a handout about adapted housing services for rare diseases. That is something that is decided by the EU, that we should have adapted housing services for rare diseases. You can see.